So something that I've been practicing for the past 5 or so years is called lifestyle design. For me, it's setting the intention for my life through mindful daily practices. This can include what I choose to do for work, cooking, exercise, my thought life. This can be any sort of cathartic practice like reading, writing, reflections, or prayers, any other sort of activity that I choose to do for the day. A major reason I decided to leave my job in 2017 was to embark on my entrepreneurial journey. And for me, this was setting my own value in the world. I used to work in academia and healthcare, specifically in public health. I started out as a clinical research assistant at the University of Pennsylvania. And when I relocated here to Atlanta, I held positions at Emory University and Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. When you're working in research settings, you really start to notice the limitations. And I don't mean that from limitations from a research design standpoint, but more so all the structural inequities, whether it be economic, social, political, that bear down on the communities that you're attempting to work for or work with. It always seemed like there should have been a way to bridge the analytic and a creative side when it came to public health and serving the community. And at that time, I didn't really know fully what that meant or how to do it. It was kind of an idea or kind of like an intrinsic or innate understanding that I had that this could be a way to create change. So although I felt my production company was on its way from the success that we had in 2022, I really didn't feel like I had a concise narrative or voice for where I wanted my production company to go. And I think part of that was because I didn't have a specific vision or direction for where I wanted my professional life to go. So although I had done work, service learning work, work in research, volunteerism most of my life, I didn't exactly have a clear and concise, almost like a life mission statement for where I wanted to go. So I decided to pitch one of the companies that I had worked with in 2022 to see if they might be interested in working with me to put together a creative residency. I had just seen an artist that I follow on Instagram at the end of 2022. He was working in Dubai on his new album, and he was doing a performance for a local festival out in Dubai. And I noticed one of the commenters on his page noted that he was living his best life essentially because he was doing an artist in residence. And that kind of stuck with me as a way of self-reflection, self-exploration, learning in a new environment, what all that can bring to your personal life and then hopefully your professional life. So like I said, I decided to take that to heart, and I pitched one of the companies that I worked with in 2022 to see if they might be interested in pairing with me to do my own creative residency so I can do something similar. Kind of figure out the direction that I want to take the company, exploring new environments, putting together unique projects to kind of give me that clear, concise narrative that I think I was looking for at that time. So I had a meeting with this company. I pitched them. The meeting went really well, and they were pretty receptive, but it didn't really go anywhere. So I had a decision to make. Was this something that I really wanted to pursue, or did I really feel that I needed to get some sort of sponsorship to kind of go through with it? In the end, I decided to do the residency myself. I really felt that it was something that I should do and that I could do, so I decided to do it. So last year I was kind of on an unofficial sabbatical from traditional work, and I pretty much was working on these creative projects that I put together for myself. So really I spent most of the year here in the city of Atlanta working on this residency. It was really rigorous with the amount of reading and writing, reflecting that I was doing. So I'm really looking forward to sharing some of those results. Another big part of the residency for me was exploring new locations and kind of putting together these kind of mini think weeks. If you're familiar with the docu-series on Netflix called, I think it's called Inside Bill's Brain, referring to Bill Gates, and it's also documented other places, but he put together something that's now called a Think Week, and it's essentially where he goes off into the wilderness for roughly a week, and he has these intense deep work sessions that he puts together and sort of brainstorms and accumulates knowledge, and he kind of synthesizes it all into some sort of theme. If I'm not mistaken, they're themes for the year. So the most famous one is a session or think week where he put together and synthesized what then became the concept for the internet browser, Internet Explorer, which might sound really funny now in 2024, but at the time this would have been a really big deal. And so I started doing Think Week, and I've abbreviated them to Think Weekends because that's usually what I can afford is to go away for the weekend in mid 2021. And so I've averaged about one a year since then, and then this year I did a bunch of mini Think Weekends. I put together a schedule for myself and some sort of creative project that allowed me to think critically and creatively around a topic or a place. And yeah, it was challenging to devise them at times, but also really liberating and freeing to just explore these new places and kind of have fresh new thoughts in these spaces outside of your house. So honestly, the entire process led me down the road to assess my values, what my information diet was, and how I was spending my time. I have a lot of notes and reflections from the past year, books that I've read, and lots of like actionable items to share if you guys are interested. And I hope by sharing what I did with my residency, you get to see the future direction for my company. You get to learn a little bit more about myself and why I do what I do.